Hi, um, I'm doing a little short video today on taking personal responsibility. This is something that it drives me nuts when I hear people say certain things. We all need to have to start taking responsibility for ourselves, and I'm mainly referring to relationships. All of this man bashing or women bashing it's insanity. I don't understand it. No one can do to you what you don't allow them to do to you. So, and that's something I was raised to think that way, but yes, I got away from that. And it didn't work. When I got away from it, you have to stick to your guns. You'll be surprised. Your reputation always precedes you. And you will get known as the girl who's not going to give it up. Now, as a young kid, that's, for a lot of women, they don't want that reputation because that means you're probably not going to get too many dates. Even in the Christian community. Because people are obsessed with sex. But there are people out there that no matter what, they're going to stick to their guns, and these men will like you. They will find you. But you have to take personal responsibility. You can't, when you're being used. Anyone can be deceived, but when you're being used. I mean, it's like, I never understood that whole thing. The women just, they want to blame the guy, and I'm begging him to tell me the truth. And it's like, why? Why would you beg someone to tell you the truth that you know is going to lie to you? That has consistently lied to you and told you who they are. Maya Angelou said, if someone tells you something about themselves, believe it. They may not tell you in words, but they will tell you in their actions. I can tell you that I love you all day, but if I'm constantly doing hateful things to you, my actions are not lining up with what I'm saying. I can tell you I won't lie to you, but if every time you turn around I'm telling you a lie, my actions are not lining up, or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm saying that backwards, but the actions have to line up with the words. And the problem today is this highly sexual culture. We jump into bed before we have an opportunity to even know anything about the person. I'm sorry, I had to pause the video for a minute. But yeah, seriously. I'm sorry, my cord fell off the thing and drugged the phone. But yeah, people's actions have to line up with their words. And pretty much everybody that's been in a bad relationship can tell you, I already knew he was going to do this. I already know she was going to do it. But, and I understand loneliness is something serious. It'll make you do things, and you just want this person around, or I don't know. I just feel like that's why so many marriages end in divorce. It's because nobody's taking any responsibility. Everybody's on the defense all the time. You have to take personal responsibility for yourself. You have to understand that everybody's not raised with the same values as you. I mean, I had to learn that the hard way. When I moved from one part of the country to a different part of the country, the mentality is completely different. The language is different. The conversations are different. What they do is different. The speech, it's like everything was so different. And it took me, and I was just coming into that age of just starting to date, getting into my adult life. And at that pivotal point in my life, making that move, I'm trying to not only navigate becoming an adult, navigating a social life, but navigating a total different mentality. where I moved, the mentality on dating was we go out, we screwing. I mean, it was so bizarre to me. And at first I was thinking like, okay, am I putting something off to make them think? But then I began to realize, no, when I talking to people, this is how everybody does it. So when you're the odd man out, you're the odd man out. So, I mean, but you have to, again, take personal responsibility. If you're living somewhere and it's mentally not stimulating or on your level, move. Leave. That's why I've moved around so much. I've lived in what? So far in my life, 6 states, multiple cities, 3 countries, 4 countries, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 countries. I've moved. I'm not afraid. I'm terrified when I'm moving, but I'm still going to do it because I believe that fear is false evidence appearing real. Usually we're scared of stuff that there's no reason to be afraid of it. But we live in a fear-based society. And in that fear-based society, we're all victims. We have to get out of that victim mentality. Take responsibility for you. Because if you don't love you, nobody will. You don't think you can be. I had a girlfriend when I was growing up. Oh my God, this girl was so pretty. Ah, these long llama lashes. Her eyes turned green, gray, hey, but she didn't know she was that beautiful. When she looked in the mirror, she didn't see what everybody else saw. Everybody saw like, ah, but when she looked in the mirror, it was just like, she'd always be like, and you're looking at her like, so because of how she viewed herself, the relationship she got in, it's weird, and I guess self-esteem also comes with personal responsibility. One thing I've learned is that you may esteem yourself one way and other people may esteem you another. When you have self-esteem, because in this country we're all labeled, we're told what we are, and nobody even knows why we're called some of the things we're called. But when you start knowing who you are and start rejecting all of these labels, that's when you start taking personal responsibility and understanding, I am the captain of this vessel. I control me. What I say goes. If I say no, then no. And if I say yes and I should have said no, then I have to say, you know what? That was a bad decision and I got to take my lumps. And that's, I think, that victim mentality also goes hand in hand with that. Today, everybody's a victim. Oh, the craziest thing I ever heard, a friend of mine, she's 54 years old. Oh my God. We were talking and catching up because we hadn't talked to each other in a while. She's telling me I asked her about the boyfriend that she had. She was like, we're not together anymore. We still talk, but blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I think I'm always going to be alone, because my dad, he didn't give me a good role model for what a man should be. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. You moved out of your parents' house at 18. In fact, your parents divorced when you was 11, 10. You moved out of your parents' house when you was 18. Went off to college and never came back. So now, 28, 38, 48, you're 54. That's 36 years. So in 36 years, you couldn't learn anything. This is what I'm talking about, personal responsibility. That blew my mind. In 36, so because your father was this, that's it. That's it. And I'm not saying that your parents don't shape your mind. And they don't shape, but you have to, at some point, you can't keep saying this is my life, but then you keep letting everybody else live it. Because that man that's treating you bad, he's living your life. Anybody that you're letting treat you bad, is living your life. Whether it's your husband, your parents, your children, your employer, your friends, they are running your life. And you've got to take control of your life. Stop being a victim. And understanding that, if I don't take this responsibility to me and say enough is enough, it's never going to change. And my life is going to stay the way it is. I don't know. I just want, especially my people, to do better. I want us to wake up. If you need to go see a psychologist, go see a psychologist. Do what you have to do to get your mental health together, because nothing's going to work out in your life right until you get this together. We're being brainwashed from birth. Everybody in this country is being brainwashed from birth. And we don't even realize it. When you leave the country, and I don't mean vacationing, leave, that's when you really start to see it like, holy crap, whoa, things start opening up and getting revealed to you. But even while you're there, most people can see it. All the stuff that's going on. Look at the news 24 hours a day. Constant. Reinforcing. It's just constant. And so our leaders are arguing, fighting. So what do they think the people are going to do? This is how you resolve conflict. You argue, you fight. It's... We've got to get out of that. And I've gotten to the point in my life, I want people to come along with me on this journey, if not here, somewhere else. But we've got to understand that the U.S. is not a powerhouse. If you want to make money, the U.S. is a place you go, stay for a few years, make some money, and leave. You don't want to stay there too long because it's so toxic. The food, the air, the water, everything is so toxic. They're poisoning us. Oh my God, it's so horrible. But some people can't see it because the poisoning is that bad. And it sounds like some science fiction movie, but it is. Watch when they spray the air. Test your water. Look at the ingredients in your food. Even the produce section, it was made in a laboratory somewhere. That's not good. Our bodies need what grew out of the ground to nourish. That's why our kids' brains are so scrambled. They can't function. Oh my goodness. I pray for this country. I pray for it. Oh my goodness. There needs to be a major healing going over this country. It's sick. The country is sick. People, don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. If you want to just make some money, come on. But there's a price on freedom. Always remember that. The brochures are always made to make you come. It's like a bait and switch. They show everything's so wonderful. Everybody's so ha, and drinking and having a good time. Of course there's that element. I'm not saying everybody's gloomy, but there's a lot of evil here. A lot of evil. And when you're not white America, which is ridiculous because they're not white. I'm white. I'm pure and natural to the Americas. That's what white means. But they took that on way back when and made it their own. But they're not white. They're not indigenous. You can't have white skin and think you're indigenous to the U.S., to any of the Americas. No, the Americas are brown and black. We've got to take this personal responsibility. We've got to start. That's part of personal responsibility, is learning about who we are. Because when you start learning who you are, your whole thought process on everything changes. You start looking at people when they say certain things, and you realize they can't understand. Their brain has been fried. Not only that, people live in a bubble. and they don't know what's going on outside of their bubble. I know I didn't. I used to think the whole country was like New York. And when I moved, I was sadly mistaken. No, New York is its own animal. It has its own level of aggression. But it's a different world. I mean, you have to understand it. All the complaining, that's another thing. The culture is complain, but nobody's doing anything about anything. My solution was just get the hell out of Dodge. I was like, I can't do this no more. Y'all, it's too much. You can't fight against. It's like pointless. You know what? Because I do believe in the laws of karma. What you do comes back to you. Understand that. Oh, trust me, I felt my karma. I mean, I've never done anything intentionally to hurt somebody, but that don't mean you're not going to get any karma. Whatever you put out, whether you sitting around, oh yeah, I can't stand that beat, yeah, that karma going to come back on you. I mean, everything you put out, it comes back to you. But you got to get out that victim mentality. You got to get out that. You got to start taking personal responsibility and understanding that if you don't run your life, so many people are standing by willing to. Trust.